NAVET in 2019, it was presented this idea, this project we had about after work, what will happen with our work in the future, and then, as you know, it's a documentary today. But at that time, I discussed with him and said, okay, but what is the sound of the future? And so we started working on that, and actually this picture is while working picture taken by Eric during one of his shooting around the world for the documentary. And the idea was this, about design the future, sound of the future informed by the sound of the present. That is exactly the idea of his documentary. So looking into the future, being informed by how the life of work is today. And the idea was to establish a new method for the sound design of the day scenario, inspired by methods in documentary filmmaking. This was the main idea, and in our team we have one researcher, that is Jarmo Laxolatti, but he is not here today, but he is very expert in running design fiction workshops. So looking into the future, we start, as many of you working in HCI, design, one method is design fiction. So we had a workshop with many researchers during a conference here at which were involved in designing the future of sound interaction in society. And from this, I make it a long story, very short, these are the main results, but we found, and basically we see that for the future, experts in the field of sound design envision personalized sound systems. We want to have more something that is adapted to us, okay? A system that with using sound for increasing empathy, reducing physical and cultural barriers, and tackling global issues, but there are some potential risks as in everything we design. So these were main results coming out from this. And from this we took on, and we had after that several sound design activities looking into the future. And in the future, one of the protagonists of the future and today is the robot. So we organize workshops at Technica. For instance, this workshop, you see this is now a robot. So we asked the participants to voice sketch and design a very simple thing is how should a robot turn to the right sound and how should a robot turn to the left sound. And I don't go into details, but there are some theories that it should be more high pitch and low pitch. Imagine that the robot is approaching you from your back, and you don't see the robot, but you hear something approaching, and this robot, you want to know which kind of direction it's taking without you needing looking back, or if you're blind. So this kind of information we were looking at. And here we had another scenarios where we had this humanoid robot in different contexts. Also here at the Texas Museum, we had hundreds of people coming, and they were choosing different sound design, how they would like the robot to interact with them in different scenarios. They could choose different sound design, and we found out which is the preferred sound. So in this way. After all this was done, we continued discussion with Eric. We had a very long discussions about data, because in his work he was investigating a lot of data collected by, for instance, an institution called Gallup that is investigating every year inquiring 150,000 workers around the world about their working situation, how they feel at work, their engagement at work. And so apparently, and this is part of his document, and there's this huge amount of data about how we feel at work, how we are at work. And I said, but could you represent with this, with audio in your documentary, because they are showing a lot of histograms and so on and so forth. So how can we get a sense of this data? And so we did a project. This is one of the posters of the project, but we, starting from this discussion with Eric, then we implemented a sonification of percentage values. So we could listen at the same time 3 different values of percentage: how engaged a person is at work, how disengaged a person is at work, how actively disengaged. So so we could sonify different parts of the world, and people could recognize how much people are engaged and disengaged in North America or in Southeast Asia, for instance, with this. So it was an outcome of this. But another development was continue working with data, then towards the future was to look into sonification of climate change data, and for this we engage the dance department of SKH and the electrocontinuous composition at Cornwall. And here what we did, we took this, as Eric says, there are a huge amount of data. For instance, not only data in the digital world, but data in databases about how the world is, the environment is today and will be. And this has been taken by composers as a starting point for composing a sonification of this data. And the sonification was then choreographed by dancers. And these were performed in the reactor hall. Here's one of the examples that I want to show you just briefly. I can play you back one example, but all of them are in YouTube. You can look at them. Here you see which kind of data they were used, how they were considered for this composition. I don't go into details how the mapping was done, but the interesting thing is that there is a collaboration between a composer, dancers, and a researcher in climate change. Climate action change. And I had also a class with the composers about what sonification is. So I play it just. Was to sonify how the data are today, and then also the what if. During the performance there was how if the world would evolve in this trend or with other trend of data, positive or negative development of the climate. And from this we arrived to what Eric was saying, to a project about communicating the invisible with sound. And we have this project that is being funded by VR. At the moment we are evaluating, we have got so many PhD applications, 87. We are happy to have received this, and we have to go through this list of applicants. We hope we will get a very top candidate that will be here in a few years presenting for you the results of this project. And as a last thing, I want to show you all the first pilot about representing also the visible data inside the computer was done together with a PhD student, one of our latest PhD student, Roberto, who received data from the group that Eric was mentioned by Bresin in computer science, data of a computer shutdown. So what happens when you switch off your computer in the software where we are not aware? There is a lot of energy consumption, a lot of activities going on, and we use sound to make people aware of what is going on, and we play these sounds to people, to lay persons, and they could recognize what it was. I say, this is a shutdown, or this is idle mode, and the computer waiting for something. When we invert it, we change the mappings that we were designing, people could no longer recognize what it was. I play you only one of this, since we don't have time, the idle mode, but it's interesting, because I feel that you will hear some kind of, I think you will hear some kind of activity in this. Is this computer waiting for something? And if you look at this dot is the first line of the two different, you don't see what you hear. What you hear a sort of regularity, something that you like. I say the computer is breathing, waiting for something. We don't see in the data, but we hear it. So this is an important thing that happens. With some education. Yes. Thank you very much. We go to the next.